All right, guys, welcome to another show. And on this episode, I've got Greg here. Greg and I have been working together for a year now, and I've had so much fun supporting you directly. And when you first came to us, you've already amassed a decent sized following, but what you were telling me was, man, it felt like every month I have to do a new promotion, a new, hey, doors are closing, or I have to make a new offer. And as a lot of us know, when we create organic content, it just feels like I have to hit my revenue numbers, but you were doing it all organic, and it just felt like you were cannibalizing kind of your organic growth by making so many call to action posts. And when we met you, you were doing anywhere from 22 to 29-ish thousand. And we're about a year later and pretty consistently in the 30K, mid 30Ks with upwards of, was 49 your best month?
45. Yeah.
45 in cash. This is not, this contracted revenue screen. Hey, I made this amount this month. It's like, no, this is real cash to where we've added $10,000 a month to your business, period. Off, I think like your ad spend's been around 50 to $100 or so a day. It hasn't been crazy.
Yeah. Not a lot.
No, and you've had a pretty much consistent 4 to 5x-ish return on ads just from trackable ads since we started for the most part too, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's been good because we just been kind of running the same thing since December and it just kind of keeps working. So, we can definitely talk details on that. But yeah, it's been great so far. Yeah. When we first started, I was averaging about like 22,000 per month and it was just me. It was like me and a VA. And then since we started running ads, initially we ran ads to like my low ticket workout membership. But then in September. We did that for like a month and switched to more of like the high ticket to the one-on-one coaching. And so now I'm averaging about 37 and I'm actually onboarding my third assistant coach right now. So I've, gotten enough higher ticket clients from this that I've not only filled up my first assistant coach, but then a second one. And now I'm working on my third. And my assistant coaches don't take on as many clients as like maybe a lot of people would. We're not going to do like 30, 40 clients per coach, like a lot of fitness coaches would. And part of that is just because of the offer and like how detailed I want them to be and everything like that.
Yeah, I'm excited to share that today too, because the whole purpose of this one is to share more inspiration in what you're doing. Because I think from the offer deliverable standpoint of what you include is far superior from that I've seen with a lot of other online strength and conditioning coach. And you have a really, really good avatar. And I think that's why your ads work so well. When people come to us and they don't have a clear avatar and they're trying to run the same ads as everyone else, so they're boosting posts, they'll see this big fluctuation of like, yeah, I hit 50K this month and the next month is 10K and then it's 50 and then it's 20 and then it's 10 and then it's 0. And it's like this, but with you, because you have a clear avatar and you've done a great job with your organic too, we've consistently added revenue. And like you said, your third coach is filled up. I mean, it may not feel like it, but me looking from the outside in, it looks much more linear than some of the other people that I've worked with. And I think, again, a part of that is your avatar. So share with the people here, like, what do you do? Who do you serve? And how do you do it?
So I do online strength conditioning specifically for adult volleyball players. And so really like 25 to 40, maybe 45. And so we do all of basically online fitness specifically for that group of people. So we've taken like online fitness, niche down to like strength conditioning, niche down to volleyball, niche down to just adult volleyball players. So like we don't work with high school kids. We don't work with college kids. I have a few like professional players, but mostly it's just like recreational players, maybe semi-pro, people who like have real jobs. They just, play volleyball for fun and they want to look better. They want to feel better. They want to, just play better. So we work a lot on like increasing their vertical, getting rid of knee pain, some on the weight loss, muscle building side of things as well, and kind of just optimizing them for volleyball, their bodies for volleyball, as people who like are busy and have like busy jobs and, and how do they fit all of these pieces together, which is why we get a little bit kind of higher touch or, higher communication than maybe you see with other like online coaches.
I love that. What's your experience with volleyball? I don't know if I know this, so share me in
Okay.
your story.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been playing volleyball for 20 years. I started when I was 12 years old. Both of my parents played, so they kind of got me and my brother in early. But I was on like my first like team when I was 12. Played through high school and then I actually played at the D1 level. So I was an all conference opposite for Ball State University. And yeah, played there for 4 years. Took some time off just because my body was like a mess. Like that's part of the thing is like if I had the information back then that I feel like I'm providing now, like I probably would have, felt a lot better by the time my college career was over. And then when I moved back home to Cleveland in 2019, I got really into beach volleyball again, picked it up as basically like a full-time thing. And then when all of the gyms shut down, that's when I started kind of training local volleyball players, started the Instagram page, started documenting things, building the side business from there, which has kind of led us to here. So yeah, it's like this good mix of like I played, pretty high level volleyball and I have a master's degree in strength conditioning. And so those blend really well together into, volleyball strength coach. And it gives me a lot of credibility for sure.
Yeah, you can see the plaque behind you, VP.
Yes.
Coach. Love it. Tell us more about your offering, because like again, I think this is what separates you. You mentioned it before. It's like your coaches don't have a big roster. You give a lot of support. You send some things to clients like when they sign up that allow you to get really like better objective data. You're not just giving macros and a strength plan, but walk through like what is your service delivery look like from the time someone pays you, the total support they get, and also just price points, stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah, I'll even go one step further back because I kind of revamped my online coaching back in January of 2024. And I was going through this thing, like really trying to figure out like, what am I going to do? What is my price point? Like working through all this different stuff. And I just kind of came to the conclusion that I wanted to get away from like what, industry standard for online fitness is like $200 to $300 a month. You get a custom program and like a monthly call, and maybe they can like message you. And I wanted to separate myself from that and create an offer that was like so much better than everybody else's that I could charge more, but it was like very justified because it's such a higher level of value and results than you're going to get with anybody else. So we do a custom program. We do nutrition coaching for, not only like the weight loss muscle gain, but like the recovery side, the performance side. What does volleyball nutrition look like? What does tournament day nutrition look like? It's like stuff like that. We do weekly or bi-weekly calls depending on where you are in the system. We do weekly office hours with me. We do monthly training calls with me. And I stay in a 3-way group chat with the assistant coaches. So it's always like the client, the coach, and me, so I can kind of stay involved. And then we're really heavy on data tracking. So we track, obviously, like weight, body fat percentage as we can. We track a lot of strength numbers and we give them like goals based on their body weight of like percentages that they should be at. We can look at like what we need to focus on and what we don't. And then every client gets like a vertical jump tracking unit. This is like a wearable.
Oh,
so
cool.
it goes around a belt, or it goes inside of a belt that you like wear around your waist. And it shows our clients in real time. That's the biggest thing people come for, is they want to jump higher. And so up until I partnered with this company, which is called Vert, we would have them like jump on a basketball hoop and they're like, oh, well, recorded in slow motion. And they're like, I'm here before. And like, maybe now I'm kind of here. Right. And it was like, cool. Like it, or they're like, I feel like I'm jumping higher, but now we can get objective data whenever we want to show like this client gained 7.6 inches in 12 weeks on his vertical, which is an insane number. And so I order that. It's kind of baked into the price. As soon as they sign up, I just order that. It gets shipped directly to them, and then they can have that. And we use that almost weekly for their testing.
Yeah, it's just so cool. When you share that with me, I was like, that's such a unique angle. And like, I love how specific you are with data, and then it allows you, like you said, to charge higher premiums because you're not just giving the same thing everyone else gives. Like you're using data to back it up. Like I've seen other coaches like send out Aura rings or Whoop bands to clients. How much does a unit cost like that? So I'm curious just like what that looks like.
So it's cool. They actually, so I have a discount code. I just order it. I use my discount code. So I end up paying like, it's just under $200, but I actually, every quarter, they give me like a commission on it too. So I'll randomly get like $300, $400, $600, like just sent to my bank account because it's the commission I get from like ordering all of these. So it's a nice little bonus that's like a surprise every once in a while. So yeah, it's like, $200. It's a really, super worthwhile expense to send to the clients because we get such good data. It's not that expensive. And then I can just like increase the price of the system because we just have, it's easier to prove results or show results because it's like, here's the data.
Yeah, and it's sports specific. That's one of my biggest goals, is to increase their vertical. Of course, they want to look good, be stronger, but like, how does increasing my back squat or deadlift translate to my performance? And if you can show a higher jump, like a vertical, which is what they want because they believe that'll help them with their sport, which should, then you're doing a way better job of service delivery.
And one of the things that this was a really almost lucky kind of addition to the system, that like one of the guys who was going through one of my vertical jump challenges, like this is what he was using. So I reached out to them. Like I actually hadn't heard of them. And it's been like such a cool partnership to develop because it is designed for volleyball players specifically. Like that's what the company does. And my goal when I revamped the one-on-one coaching was really like, what's everything I can possibly provide to these clients to give them like the best results possible. And we've added some things along the lines, but we've also taken some things out. So like we used to do like pain scale tracking, wake up, like do some kind of trigger thing for your knee pain. And then it's like rate that on a scale of 1 to 10. And we realized people just like, it was like another thing for them to do. And people just like didn't do it. So it's like, cool, we'll just take that out, trim some of the fat. How do we make this not just everything that we can give people, but what's like the most efficient thing we can do for these clients? There, it's like the least amount of things to give them the best results, or like minimum effective dose in like the the weightlifting world.
So key. I'm curious, how did you come up with the standards? Like you mentioned, like there's certain standards that you want them to hit in terms of, I don't know if it's bench, squat, deadlift, or some of the main performance things. Where did you come up with the standards for that?
Yeah, so it's been kind of an amalgamation of a few places. I worked for about 18 months with Knees Over Toes guy back when he was kind of really gaining a lot of popularity. So he created a lot of standards for a lot of different exercises, and I pulled some from there. I found some from like an old T Nation article that I've been using for like a
Yes.
decade
They
of
should.
like, yeah, your back squat ratio to front squat should be this, to power clean should be this, like all these different things. Some of them were based off of my numbers and my ratios because I really like to lift, but then we've adjusted some over time based on like what some of our best performing clients are doing. So even like some of my pro athletes and some of my highest jumpers, I was like, well, what are their numbers look like in relation to each other? And okay, let's factor in maybe a little bit of genetics, but then we can adjust some things based off of that. And so it's been and will continue to be like an ongoing process of really finding what matters. But it's also really cool for the clients because we have like a whole spreadsheet, it's like an Excel sheet. And so when you type in the numbers, it's all like kind of color coded. So the numbers automatically update, and 0% is red, but 100% is green. So you can see the color change like as they get higher and higher in those percentages. And it's really satisfying for them to go in and see like there's 20 different exercises where they just made progress on that. So it's not just about the jump. They're like, look at how I'm getting stronger in all of these different things. And they can visually see the progress from there.
Dude, I love that. I love that. Tell me more, coming back to the service delivery. What are the deliverables? Like how often are you guys meeting with the clients? And let's talk more price point too.
Yeah. So initially, when I started under this air of like, what's the most amount we can provide to people, we were doing weekly calls with clients, weekly 30-minute calls. Recently, we've started to scale back to some clients going to biweekly and telling clients like, you'll do weekly for a certain amount of time, like like your first 4 to 6 weeks. And then after that, we switched to biweekly because we did kind of notice that sometimes biweekly just happens on its own. And because, people are traveling or they just don't have that much to talk about. Sometimes the calls only go for 15 minutes. So it's like, instead of it's like 15 minutes of a call, then 15 minutes off before another 15-minute call. We just switched more to just bi-weekly after a certain amount of time because they just don't need as much support, but they still get weekly check-in forms sent to them. So every Sunday they get an automated text from me, which I'm very open to them. It's automated. They know because they have my number. Like fill out their weekly check-in form. And then they also can schedule office hours with me on Fridays. So from 11 to 1, they can book a time to come and then also chat with me on top of their call with their coach. So one of the problems that we spent a lot of time trying to figure out of like people are coming to train with like me because of like the brand and like the social media presence. So how do I stay involved when I'm having them work with an assistant coach? So it's like, well, I can be on their coaching calls, but I can't like always do that. And it's like I can text them and keep up with them, but just giving them the opportunity to just come and chat with me like every week if they wanted to, I think has been a really good, like it's almost like balls in your court. Like if you want to come hang out with me, like here I am, it's like you can choose to do that. And I think that's been a really good solution to that for like they still feel like I'm around even though they're not like training with me.
Yeah, I love that. Sometimes people get scared when they first make their first hire or somebody that they're not going to deliver as good of a result or have that communication, and you still have that built in. And a lot of like the typical online fitness models, like, weekly check-ins all via Loom, and maybe one call a month, but like the level of support that you're providing with the data tracking, with the weekly, now more bi-weekly calls, you're definitely delivering almost double, if not triple, from my understanding of the amount of value and the amount of like touch points with a client. What's the typical price point of your offer, whether it's paid in full or if it's monthly?
Yeah, so it's somewhere between $2,000 to $4,000 depending. So it's around $2,000 to $2,500 for 3 months and around like $35 to $4,000 for 6 months. And it's something that we've been working a lot lately on simplifying things. The most common thing is if you prepay the $2,000 upfront, it's a discount off of like doing the monthly price. That is the most common thing. But the best deal is like $3,400 for 6 months.
Right, which comes out to it's like $600 or $700 a month or so ish.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna say, like you provide this level of service to charge that, one, and then two, your avatar is so specific. They want to improve their vertical jump. A lot of them have knee pain because it's a very jumping sport, a lot of change of direction, stuff like that. And you are the expert. Is there anybody else in the space that does what you do, like for your avatar?
Kind of. So there's some people who have, I think, seen the way my page has grown and thing like that and basically latched on to the same type of avatar, right? There was another guy who, like, I remember, looking at him. His name's Reed. Reed's Workouts, great dude. Back when I first started doing this, he had like 25,000 followers, and I was like, man, if I could like ever get that high, like that would be so cool, And I actually took a screenshot when I finally passed him in followers at like it was like 32.8 or something like that. But I've talked to him about this, and he works more with the high school side of things, which I work exclusively with the adult side of things. So there are some other people, and I see new pages, volleyball performance people post up every once in a while again, but I think we have like probably the biggest stakeholding of that group of people probably of anybody right now.
Just those who are listening, like, I think that's what makes your ads work is, one, you have the margin for ads. Like if they're paying 2K to 2,500 for 3 months, some people are like, whoa, I'm only charging $200 or $300 a month for this level of support. Well, it's going to be a lot more. Your margin to run ads and to hire an assistant coach. You're doing all the sales. You've had some help with some setting and stuff in the past. You have more margin, and it's a lot easier for someone like you to get a 4, 5, or 6x ROAS because you have the margin. So if anyone's listening here, I want to take like some key parts here of like specific avatar. And sometimes we can get too specific, but yours works really well. Whenever you have like a sport or something that you're really good with, like passionate about, and these people are competitive and they're using this not just to lose weight or like, feel better. It's like to perform better, and they'll get some side effects of like looking really good and all that stuff and feeling good. That allows you to charge more premium prices. So I think you do a great job with that. I'd love to transition now and hear more about, tell me more about the team as the way that it currently stands, and like generally curious too, just like on margin, what that kind of looks like as well. Like what your net kind of looks like on a monthly basis, et cetera, after all expenses.
Yeah. So right now I've got the two coaches who are they're not like full-time per se, like this is something that really helps. Both of my coaches are also volleyball coaches, so like they have a really high level of like coaching and training experience. Something I didn't mention that we offer is film review. Like we'll watch you play volleyball and like tell you how to be a better player, right? So they're also volleyball coaches. But I've got two coaches that have like 15 to 20 clients each, and I'm actually taking my setter, and he's becoming my third coach, because initially he reached out to me to be an assistant coach, really like looking for a job, like wanting to get involved. So I'm like, hey, let's do this first, and so now I actually am training him to be my third assistant. And then I have a VA that helps with like basically with the go high level stuff. I'm sure I'll find another setter at some point, but something I'm sure we'll talk about now that we're running direct to website instead of messaging ads. Like I'm just not getting inundated with DMs like I was a month ago. I just gave my coaches a raise pretty recently, and so up to they can get up to $150 per client, where it used to be up to 120. Because as I was interviewing for this third assistant coach spot, I was like doing the numbers and telling them the numbers, and I'm like, this isn't really super enticing from like a payment amount, at this point. So to your point, we would end the month with like a pretty decent amount of kind of profit left over. And I'm like, I would rather, I've got my ads covered, like everything's covered. I'd rather give this back to my coaches, because if they're making more money, they're happier, they're, less stressed in life. They're going to do a better job with their clients because they feel like it's more worth it, because they're getting paid more, willing to take on more additional clients because, the money's going to be a little bit better. And so I ended up, we started this month, I gave them a raise. So yeah, we've got to hit about 33,000 to essentially break even, with some profit that I just set aside, based off of the profit first numbers. But that hasn't been a problem, lately. And it's going to help us, I think, scale in the long run, especially as we're turning up ads, and the ads are performing well right now. So as they continue to improve and we continue to scale those, like that's just going to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah. When you say 33,000, that includes your pay too, right?
Yeah.
So what
that's
does it
everything.
cost? Just business expenses and payroll and stuff like that. Where you're at, I imagine you're probably closer to 40 to 50-ish% before you pay yourself.
Yeah, I can actually tell you. Let me pull up that spreadsheet. So you said before I pay myself?
Yeah, before you pay yourself. Because like, I guess like someone watching me like, all right, 33K. It's like, oh, well, you said it was like, oh, at 33K, we're good. I'm like, nah, bro. Like, I don't think it costs you 33. Like, and that's not what you would be able to take home. Like, what is kind of like your payroll and expenses?
Yeah. So like everything expenses that comes out of the business account is around 19,000. And that's including ad spend in there as well. So that's like payroll, ad spend, and all of the small, trainerize, go high level, Canva, all of that stuff. And we can probably even trim a little bit of that, but it's like, yeah, 19K plus what I pay myself.
Yeah. So you're taking home minimum 10K after expenses? Because I think a lot of people get like, oh man, I made 100K, I made 50K, I don't know all this stuff. But it's like, how much you're actually taking home. And people don't actually look at that. They chase the top line. People don't realize how much money they actually need the business to make to take home 10K a month. Like when you're starting and have no employees, you can make 20K plus ad spend, maybe a setter, and you'll make 10K take home. But then as you, like, and as you're doing now, you're reinvesting into the business, the team, the infrastructure. So your deliverable gets better. You get more of word of mouth referrals. You get more testimonials. You get your brand grows. You're still kind of aggressively growing, but you're still taking home 10, 20K a month, paying yourself plus distributions, etc. So you're doing a good job of managing finances.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I try to take, as little as I need to, but I also do support a family of four based off of purely off of this business. So, there's some expenses that are there. I would love to take home less and give more, but I also want to take home more and be able to
I want to
do
take
more
home
stuff,
more.
for sure. Like, you can look at it both ways, but I just know that as we continue to grow, that's just going to keep going up and going up. And I'll say this, I quit on like in-person training in December of 2022 to do this full time. And I would never want to do anything else than this. Like I will never go back to that. This is like, I've got it made. Like I'm just at home with my wife and kids all day, just kind of just running the business and can take breaks and go out and see them and still, live a pretty comfortable life doing that. So definitely wouldn't change it.
Yeah, dude, you're doing great, man. Let's transition to marketing because, like you said, when we first started working together, we tried some low ticket stuff first. You were running a challenge that was getting a lot of like subscription clients in. It was 4 inches in 4 weeks or four.
Yep.
Share that challenge, and we can kind of talk about your experience trying to do low ticket because I know a lot of people come in and like, hey, I'm seeing all these ads about low ticket funnels and stuff like this, and sell by chat and stuff like that. And we tested out the low ticket first because you had proven it organically. Share your experience there.
Yeah. So on top of the one-on-one coaching, I do have like a low ticket, like workout membership. So it's about $50 a month where they just get access to an app that has a bunch of different like volleyball specific workouts in there. So when we first started and for a few months, I was kind of like in this battle back and forth of like, I need to focus on one, but which one do I focus on? Right. So the 4-and-4 challenge is something that I had some success with in the past, but it basically just pushed people to like my low ticket. And so we started with working on that low ticket funnel. And that was good. I mean, we would get a couple sales a day, but it was like a $19 first month or something like that. So the ROAS on it wasn't quite what it is now. And we really like, I think it was either August or September. I think it was September. I made the choice. I'm like, okay, we're going to focus on the high ticket. And like, that's what we're going to focus on as a business. I'll still, put up on my story once or twice a week of like, hey, I've got the, the membership and it's actually free for the first 30 days now, which is like just another aspect of like, I just want to have a better offer than every other person where it's like 7-day free trial, like whatever. That's not like, who cares? 30-day free trial. That's what we do because the revenue from the membership doesn't drive the business. So the one-on-one drives the business. So I can do a 30-day free trial because we're focusing on high ticket coaching. So we switched ads to that. I think we got those rolling in like up and rolling in October, November, and they've really started to work in like December. Like that's when they started to kind of like kick in and started to see some good returns on that. But that was like a really pivotal time of the business of like, which one of these things do I focus on? I don't know why it took me so long to decide that focusing on getting $2,000 up front was better than focusing on $19 up front, right? But I had this idea in my head of having like 2,000 people on my membership and like what kind of numbers those would look like. But it was also easier to sell. So before we were running ads, it was like kind of what you had brought up. I'd really hit like a stagnation point in my following where like my following didn't increase for months. And part of the reason, maybe amongst other things, was like every month there was like a new promotion or like I had to find a way to get these high ticket clients in because it was just all through organic at that point. So it was like, I think I did like a scholarship promotion, which was great. I did that in like August. September was like my birthday. October was like first 5 clients for CC. November was Black Friday. Then December was like end of the year, like prices are going up. So it was just like constantly like, what's the next thing? And it's always a sale price and people are just waiting for that or they're getting sick of it. So now that we're successfully running ads to the high ticket, I can just focus on content and I can just put out good content. I can do some call to actions every once in a while, but my following has started to increase again for the first time in like 6 or 7 months because I can just like blast out content that's not constantly like, hey, who wants to sign up for coaching, like all these different things. And, I'll still do minor call to actions on my story and things like that. And I'll still do, I did another scholarship promotion, but I've really been able to let the ads handle a lot of the lead generation. so that I can just focus on value.
Yeah, I love that. And the ads we're running are some of the simplest ads, and you probably see them all the time. It's the I'm looking for five, all right? And sometimes in some of my videos, I'll talk bad about those. These work really well for people like yourself when they have a very specific avatar and they don't have a lot of competition. So because you are the leader in volleyball strength and conditioning, I'd say online, you can make these work really well. If you're targeting just busy dads or parents, looking for five parents, but I haven't seen that work very well. But when you have a specific avatar, it can crush. So for you, since you said we launched these in October, we started with just very basic DM ads. And the thing that made these things work, I think in my opinion, was you always had like, well, not always, but a lot of visual hooks that immediately when someone comes to your account or they see the ad, they either see a volleyball in your hand or they see you spiking a ball. Like we've used a lot of visual hooks of like you playing volleyball, spiking the ball. So automatically we call it the sight test. It's like the smell test. Does this look like an ad that this demographic would click on? And yours does, because it just brings them forward and being like, oh, volleyball, what is it? Oh, that was a cool hit. Oh, he's now pitching me on his offer. But like your click-through rate, your cost per lead, all of that have been so good that we've been able to make just very direct calls to action of like, hey, I'm looking for five volleyball players who want to, improve the vertical jump, get rid of knee pain, improve the performance. Here's my offer. DM me this word to learn more. From October all the way until June, we've just been recycling, putting new hooks on ads, refilming ads, minor changes. And that's worked really well until June. Give some context on that, and then we can talk about what happened in June and how we've pivoted, and it's actually been better, I think, in my opinion.
So I know like when we really started the looking for five in like December, we had talked about like, this isn't going to last forever. Let's just do this until it stops working. And then we'll pivot to like a free training or like some other kind of funnel. And then it just kept working. So we just kept doing it. And it's really been, the videos like static ads haven't really done a whole lot. A couple clients here and there, but not really a lot. It's really been the videos. And my page is primarily video content. So I think it's just reminiscent of like, one, maybe I'm just better at making those ads because I always just make that like talking head video content. And two, that's where I found out what video hooks really work, because those are the ones on like my top. I basically take the video hooks from my top performing posts, use those in the ads because I know they get eyeballs. And then we can kind of find the winners from there. So yeah, it just kept working. And then in June, it was June 15th, all of a sudden, like something freaked out in Meta. I got like, I can look at the numbers, but it was like an extra $100 in ad spend, like quadruple the impressions, triple the link clicks, but like no messages. And after that, it was gone. Like it just got shut down. I was getting absolute garbage, like 1 to 3 messages a day from people just like they were like children. It was really bad. And so we tried a bunch of different stuff. I was like looking all over the internet for like, solutions and things like that, and ended up having, just to kind of salvage the month, had to leverage organic to be able to do that. And so one of the kind of the lessons of this was, because I hadn't been having to pitch to organic for months, now I could leverage some of that goodwill. I signed up, I think 5 or 6 clients from just like 1 or 2 direct posts on Instagram, and then like a 3 email chain that brought in some clients from there, which basically bought us some time to figure out something else. And so now we switched away from messenger ads to just direct to website, like conversion ads. And that has crushed so far. I think I can look how many calls or like applications and calls I've booked since then. So far, yeah, 31 calls booked since we started doing that already. Of those, 7 new clients this month so far, just from that. So
what's the ROAS on those ones now?
I don't have updated numbers, but like it's good. Like,
yeah,
it's good.
And the cool part is like they're not DMing you. So like you had a setter, and now that setter's becoming a coach, because we don't really need him, because we just pivoted, because they were all, hey, looking for 5, DM me this keyword. That was working. Meta got weird. We tried different optimization events, even just different targeting, all that stuff. But for some reason, your account, just like you're getting a bunch of clicks. Like your cost per click went from like $1 to like 10 cents, 20 cents. And it was a weird thing. And this lesson for everybody is like, Meta acts differently for every account. And you're the only account that we had that was like that. I was like, dude, this is weird. Like no one else is experiencing this. Meta makes updates and they sometimes roll it out to other people, not in the, in different orders. And it cannibalized what was happening. And now we just run ads straight to your website. There's a video and an application underneath it. And maybe, is there any case studies on there or like any testimony?
No, there's like 3 bullet points.
Yeah, it's been cool. And yeah, now they're just booking straight on your calendar and you take the calls and it's working extremely well. So it's been cool to see like just how fast you pivot. You didn't like freak out too. Like I was on vacation when it happened too. And you're like, dude,
Yeah.
what do I do? I'm like, hold up, man, I'll be back.
Yeah.
And then we made the pivot and I like this more because it's more scalable and we can also start to layer in some more, maybe some lead magnet stuff on top of this as well to build a list. But I think it's been a really good change for you.
I agree because we got to the point where like I was talking to my setter. We just started sending them the link to the website in the initial message anyway. So it's like they would send me the keyword. We would be like, hey, here's some information. Like, this is who this is for. If that sounds good, click the link and we would just send them to the website. So we just cut out that step. We just sent them directly to the website. And now what that allowed us to do is we were only running ads to Instagram, but now we could throw Facebook in there too
Right.
because we didn't have to go through the whole, Messenger versus Instagram Messenger, things like that. And so we're getting actually a lot of leads from Facebook because the ads are actually doing like pretty well on there. Like I've seen them show up on mine compared to some of them that just kind of get pushed to Facebook randomly. Like they're doing tremendously better there, which is cool.
Well, their platform you haven't tapped into. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
you just increase the visibility. Now they added threads too. I don't know if the quality is going to be like there, but like you're getting like just by cutting it and just running ads to Instagram, you're essentially cutting your volume or placements in half. So it actually is more expensive for you just to target on Instagram. So now that we opened up another channel, costs are going down and we're optimizing for applications, which is even further in the funnel and you have more people to put it in front of. So like right now it's been doing really good.
Yeah. And I think now, as things are like, we got a pretty good spike, like the initial ones did pretty well. It's slowing down a little bit, but it's getting more consistent, like better quality leads. I think it's focusing on the back end now is like, how do we increase show rate? How do we make sure people watch the VSL? If
Right.
they don't want to watch the VSL, how do we make sure they still have the information and I'm not doing just like an intro call, as opposed to that? And so I think revamping or optimizing the back end is going to be kind of the big step at this point. And I would say like, I updated my VSL and I think that made a huge difference too. I know we were kind of back and forth on like, do we say the price point? Do we not say the price point? I ended up including my price point in my VSL as like an FAQ section at the very end. And so far, I would say a good choice at this point because
Yeah.
it is a higher price point and it allows people like it allows me to price anchor people because I have like, if you want to work with me, it's like way more money, right? So I can tell them price anchor with that, give them the range, but I can also just like in that time explain like justify why we do charge so much more instead of them just looking at a website, oh, $2,000, and they're like, okay, see ya. Like it allows me to give some
Yeah.
context to why we charge more. I think that's been good because people like if people watch the video all the way through and then they come on the call, like they know like it's a really simple sales process at that point if they already know the price point. And then it saves me of like going through this whole call and then they're like, oh yeah, well that's way too much money. So
Yeah. I'd like to show the ads so people can see kind of what the style looks like. I'll pull the one this is probably one from January. And then the new ones we launched, we can show the new ones too. But I just want to
yeah.
show you guys because again, it's almost the smell slash, it's not smell test, but it's like the sniff, the visual test. But same concept is like, just this would be what would pop up on a Facebook ad.
If you're a rec volleyball player, but you still want to train like a pro, then listen up.
So I don't know if I could hear that, but he starts off with him playing the sport that he's doing. He calls them out, hey, if you're an adult volleyball player and you want this, listen up. And it's a minute and a half video, right? So like this works really well for these direct ads because like he's telling the full offer breakdown of like everything that's included, testimonials, case studies, etc., in the ad itself. So I'm
to elevate your game.
we'll just listen to kind of play. We'll kind of just go through it a little bit and we probably won't finish the full thing, but you're calling out the player, what they want to do.
This new year and make 2025 your best volleyball year ever. I'm looking for 3 dedicated volleyball players over 25 who want to take their performance and physique to the next level without sacrificing their busy lives. Whether you want to jump higher, hit harder, shed fat, build muscle, or stay injury-free, our one-on-one elite coaching system is designed to give you everything you need to crush your goals. It's the same system that
Give some social proof. All these people have done this. Click the link below to learn more about the system. Here's like how it's different. Custom workouts, tracking, completely customized, personalized, exactly what you need. Just click the link below to learn more. This just works really well. And like, you're not leaving anything up to like chance of like, well, who's this for? Is it for me or not? And like I said, we probably, how many different intros have we pieced together?
a lot.
Oh, a lot,
Yeah.
right? So it's like we have a proven script. We just keep refreshing different creatives and styles, and you're saying the same script, but you just, we have B-roll on top of it, and then there's text that's just there as well. So we just launched these ones, but again, another script, a little bit shorter in length. But again, still calling out the avatar. Here's the offer. Click the link below to learn more. Then you kind of go over here. You're talking again. You can see he's got a volleyball in his hand. He's behind him is a strength like squat rack, all the equipment. It just was like, all right, I get it. Volleyball strength. I see you. I see it in your handle. Okay, I know what I'm getting, like all the way across the board. And I think that's so important. And you do such a good job with creative. And like I don't have to like every week when if we need new creative, you can get them made, and it helps so much. Versus like some of the things that a lot of people will run is like this same style, but they'll just have like a call out card that's just like a Twitter image, and that's worked a little bit for us, but they haven't like lasted the length of time, or they would work for a week or two and then fatigue. These ones have worked really well because again, like you just refresh the hook, different volleyball scene, and then again, like it just passes that smell slash sight test so well.
Yeah, when we started with this one, I did like just this with me holding that ball, which is like an outdoor ball, like a beach volleyball ball, and also a different one of me holding an indoor ball. And also we did some at at a volleyball court. And then this one was the best performing. So we just took that and then we layered 3 different video hooks on top of that. So now we basically tested, we found the winner for that. Now we're testing the video hooks. We can find the winner for that. And we can just, just kind of like drill our way down to like, what's the best, hook and video combo. And that's been something that has worked really well, is just finding the winners and just like not like completely rewriting the ads, but taking the things that are working and just making variations of that and trying to instead of trying to start over. It's like, we have something that's making money. Let's do more of that. And what can we change that can then just bring in, new people or give it a fresh look, or, kind of be a little bit more specific. And I think that's been why we've been able to kind of keep it going, is just like using your process of putting, 9 to 12 ads out there and just finding what works and just doubling down.
Yeah. And it makes it easier for you versus like, hey, go meet with the copywriter or go make a new ad, go to Chat GPT and start coming up with new angles. It's like, once you find something that's a winner, how do we replicate it 1,000 times? And then eventually it'll stop working. And then at that point we can go and pivot and do a whole new strategy, new funnel, etc. But this same direct call out has worked. We've changed the number a couple of times, like 3 volleyball players, 5.
Just eliminating it completely sometimes. I'm looking
Yeah.
for more volleyball players,
Yeah. And it works. So cool, man. Well, let's wrap this thing up. So I guess looking in the future, like what are you most excited about now? What's your attention focus going to be on the next several months?
Yeah, I'm just really excited to kind of like be able to scale up the ads, because we are, we've kind of crossed that bridge of like the DMs aren't working. We're finding something better. It's cool. Now we can, really put some money into this. Cause when I think about it, it's like, $100, $200 a day feels like so much money, but it's really not when it comes to like ad spend. Like we can just crank on that because it's working. But now we're going to work on layering in a free training funnel on top of this too. So I've got it. It's all uploaded. Like everything's basically ready. We essentially just have to launch it. And by the time people see this, like we probably will have launched it. And it's just going to give us 2 lead generation sources where we'll hopefully just keep the looking for 5 ads going, and then just have the free training funnel on top of that, which is a case study of one of our clients who was really successful. And me just like walking through the process. So really simple, like opt in, watch the video, click here to apply. And it's just going to be a new lead source. So taking that and really, just layering on these different things of like different acquisition sources on top of fixing the back end. I think there's a lot of area of opportunity on the back end that if I can just capitalize on that, like that's going to be, really a really big help from this too.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that because the free training is going to be more to a colder demographic. Like these direct ads are like hitting people who already know that strength training is what they need. They already are like solution aware. A lot of them know you exist because you have a decent sized following. But the free training ads are going to be for people who are more skeptical or just don't know who you are yet. So it's like, I think pairing these together, because this is what we find is if we run ads to our school group, like a mini course, it's free. Then when we pair those with retargeting ads and direct ads, you'll see them click both. They click the first one, the free training. They're like, I'm not going to DM you, or I'm not going to click and apply. I don't know who you are. But then they'll watch a training and be like, oh, now I know who he is. Then they'll see another ad that's going to be the direct. So overall, like launching the indirect, even though you may get less calls and less sales from it directly, you should actually see with time the cost per result continue to drop for the direct ads until you reach this like saturation point of everyone knows who you are. But I don't like based off where your ads are at, like I think you still have plenty of time to keep scaling.
Yeah, and I think an important point on what you said is I had been following your content for like almost basically exactly a year before I signed up.
Mhm.
And, I was like working with another coach, which is, that was part of it too. But like, it was exactly that, like watching the YouTube video, seeing the content, like tried the free training funnel kind of like based on what you had taught us at the seminar. And so it was like exactly kind of what you're describing is essentially the process that I went through to sign up with you as well.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. Well, cool. I'm excited to work with you. Continue to support you and see you grow. You've done like so well. You built a lot of systems. And we kind of just talked about like the ads and growth and stuff. But like just as a business owner, you have absolutely ascended in like your level of understanding of how to operate and how to hire, how to lead a team. And it's been cool just seeing your development. So just want to say kudos to you for yeah being so consistent. It's just a testament of who you are as a leader and a human.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and I appreciate the help. And we're gonna just take it to the moon. We got a lot of room to grow still. I got to get that 50K trophy. That's the next goal here. So
Yeah, you'll get that so close. We were so
for
close
sure.
already 1 month. I was like, should we just send him a 50K trophy? Nah, we got to get
Nah.
50K cash, and then 100K. I think is definitely in the radar in the next like probably next year or so. Like
Sure.
at most, as long as your coaching team can support it, because you guys do have such like a high touch deliverable service. Well, cool. Greg, thanks,
Cool.
man. How can the people connect with you if they have questions about your offer or if they have questions about even maybe experience working with me? What's the best place to connect with you?
Yeah, it's going to be the Volleyball Strength Coach on basically everything. I'm primarily on Instagram, more so now starting full time on YouTube. So the Volleyball Strength Coach periods in between on each. And then I think the only one that's different is TikTok is like VB Strength Coach because it was like too long for TikTok's username. And that's all just kind of cross posted. So Instagram is really the main spot.
All right, y'all. You heard him. Hit him up on Instagram if you guys have questions about his offer, his deliverables. Again, like he great job of giving things to people when they sign up and just like really being on it with the data. So cool. All right, Greg. Well, thank you, man, for doing this with me. And I look forward to our call tomorrow.
Thank you.